Why, that was a clip from a trip I took this summer to my homeland, Pacific Northwest. And during the process, like with many people, I got a bunch of footage. And it's great. And I can create something like this. Mountain, I think the South Sister. But a lot of the footage actually lacks focus. What I really want to focus on is creating something that has a bit of more story attached to it. So with that in mind, I looked at Full-Time RVers because they do a lot of travel videos successfully. And I found 6 of them I thought had some cool ideas and guidelines to follow. And so that's what I've done in this video is pull those together, show you those guidelines. And at the end, I pulled together a quick snippet, kind of practicing those guidelines in action. So with that in mind, here are the 8 travel video creation guidelines from these 6 successful full-time RVers. Check it out. The first guideline that's true across all the full-time RVers I looked at is that they all have a core cast of characters. This involves themselves, definitely their RV, the landscape, and of course the cute pet along the way. Of course, there are all kinds of different characters that come in, the strangers they meet, the friends that they visit. All these different casts of characters, including problems that they have along the way, are actually characters in and of themselves that help drive the story forward, whether in a minor or major way. But the core characters get the spotlight, especially if it's Cruz the Bulldog.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you guys to the star of the show. His name is Cruz the Bulldog. He is the king of the castle, and yes, he gets all the girls.
The next guideline that they did generally use is they highlight different problems. Now, these problems can, of course, be characters, minor characters, but they could also be a major part of the show, such as going through and troubleshooting, going to the dump station didn't work for them, or why their air conditioner suddenly blew out, or why they keep swaying on the highway. Any number of different problems are basically the story or character, and they use these problems to really generate a lot of interest because other people are going to encounter those problems and how did they get around them and so on and so forth. So of course, they're going to delve in tips and tricks and tools, resources along the way. It definitely helps drive the story, just as showing the RV is a major part of what their channel will be all about because people are so interested in that van or RV and how they decked it out. So it's a huge thing is not only just setting it up, but also what do you do about the problems that you encounter along the way? What are some of the common problems? And another part of that whole process is that you really want to have that as a minor character so that, you know, instead of just showing the top of the mountain, you want to show the progression of how you got there, the problems you encounter along the way, the journey. So you're sharing the journey to get to the top of the mountain. If you just show the top of the mountain, that's not going to be as exciting. There's not going to be the same audience, quote unquote, buy-in to your journey as if you showed the problems and like stopping and getting emotional reaction of, you know, how tired you are from hiking up this far up the mountain or whatever it is might be doing, or being fearful of getting on the hang glider. Those are the journey aspects you really want to capture to really give a full flavor of the whole journey. Not just showing the hang gliding, which might capture their interest at the beginning, but you really want to show the journey or progression, how you got there and why you're taking on the journey that you're doing. One of the fails is just to show these landscapes. To get over that is to show the impact it has on you and the reaction you have, the emotional reaction. People love to see that reaction.
That was awesome.
Come again.
Man, I was like, was there any time your mom screamed?
Oh, when we went down the hill, I wish we had it on camera.
Another guideline to use is having quick snippets of conversation. This is much like a reaction to an event, but it's giving more character development. The main characters or strangers or friends that they've met up with. Basically, it's giving a quick snippet. It also gives greater interest to the, let's say, the music that you've got going. So you can weave in these different conversations or reactions that happened and still have interest. So it's not just a music video. It has more dimension, character development, and also drives the story forward. That actually gets a lot more views, these different conversations that they have in between these adventures. What comes behind the scenes, such as right here.
Got ready to pack up here. We're going to leave here at Mears, and we're going to go 7 miles to Silver Lake State Park. The rig is an absolute disaster.
Another cool guideline is to use voiceovers. Now, music and video are great, a bit of voiceover gives it a little more emotional impact or transformation, gives it a little bit of context and reaction to what they're seeing in the video. So it's great to have a little bit of voiceover mixed in with a bit of music and then reactions. All this provide a lot more interest. So having a little bit of voiceover can be key, something like this.
We last left you on our first overnight adventure since COVID hit the USA. We're still waiting for a few more components to arrive for our van build, so instead of just waiting around, we decided to take a day trip to our 20th National Park, Mammoth Cave.
This next one is really cool because it hits people on a couple different levels. Basically going and getting informational snippets, such as something like this.
For Prohibition years, Skidaway Island was known for its illegal alcohol production. And so all over this area, there are things like this, which were illegal liquor stills. There's another one kind of back up in here that you can see.
What this does is a couple different things. One, for those people who've never been to the area, it gives them a little more context and information and interest and making them want to go to the area. And for the people who are living in the area, they just love it because it's like, oh, look at that. There's my hometown. There's where the area, that's right around the corner. And they'll actually end up commenting much like this. Stories of what they did during a job in the summer or how they just traveled there last weekend. People love seeing that and it brings back memories. So you're hitting people who are new to the area, people who have visited the area or have these great memories. Really helps to fuel a lot of the interaction and comments that you might get. So even though you might come upon those plaques that are a little bit cheesy and gives you a little bit of information, you can use those. Or one of the better things to do is to go and find some cool details that people might not realize about the area that makes it a little more colorful or interesting. Again, providing a bit more context. This next one I think can really make videos stand out, and that is using secrets, meaning finding things that are really unusual. The informational snippets are interesting and provide some overall context that a lot of people are going to be able to figure out and know. But when you can find stuff that you're not going to be able to get with a quick Google search, you're going to get people really vested in seeing the area or seeing the rest of your video because you're giving them quote unquote secrets of the area that most people, the average tourist, doesn't really recognize it. And it can also weave into your character. Van City Life does this really well. And here's a clip of him looking at a wall. All the friends that were there at the same time didn't notice it all. Check it out.
You gotta pay attention when you walk around because everybody I was with today walked right past this wall. They never seen it before. It's all in the fine details, my friends.
So what's great is it weaves into his character. He's very strong about different things that he does and really very quirky. Quirkiness really helps to really drive audience interest. And for particular people, they're going to love that. And other people are just going to be like, whatever. That's a filter in a way, and it really helps drive his audience forward, and people love it. They're more apt to comment, and they're more apt to watch and subscribe and really engage with the video. And not just subscribe, but go and watch it when something's posted. Because a lot of people can subscribe, but they're not, on average, if you look at stats, going to watch your video when you publish it. You really have to make it a lot more interesting. One of the unique ways to do that is to weave in a bit of secrets that is basically overall character development to whatever kind of videos or travel show that you've got going on. That character development within quirkiness and secrets and stuff works, I think, really well. These guidelines are pretty fun. And if you look out there and see what other people are doing, you'll be able to notice a lot of the just similar trends of other people besides full-time RVers using these same sort of guidelines. So looking at these guidelines is great. Now, I wanted to put this into action. The only problem I had is that I was using existing footage. So I had a bit of a handicap because although I might be able to drive a story forward and then get the clips that I wanted, I had to just go off of the clips I already had. I still tried to put this in action and really kind of frame and give a story. And this is what I came up with. If you actually watched to this part of the video, thank you. Part 2 is coming, and I'll have that footage. I actually looked at it. It's going to take me a bit longer if I want to do it well to actually create that. So instead of trying to stuff everything all in one video, I'm creating a second video. It's going to be coming out soon, and so look for that. Thank you. Now, moving forward, I'd like to, instead of just getting random footage here and there, really start to think in the same way the full-time RVers and their travel videos do. Think about the character development. Think about the snippets that you're going to get. Think about what kind of reactions you can get from different people, secret areas you can go, secret information that locals only know, let's say, or just sharing different aspects about an area and then driving a bit more context to an overall journey. It makes it much easier. So when you go to a place, like let's say you just arrived to a park, instead of going, oh darn, okay, well, what should I film? You really have more understanding of what you're doing and what you want to capture that's going to get people's attention, but also make it fun for you and the viewer. With that in mind, I'm hoping to basically take these guidelines, and when I go to film something, I'll have a bit more context and drive and purpose to what I'm filming. Now, there's some more videos in the description below that kind of match what this video is about. Check them out, and if you liked this, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.